wow. I hope we're changing to 48-hour turns soon because wow, it's astonishingly a lot of work to make like clockwork recording each single day after work. I would like to relax a little bit more, but I guess I have to wait until the game is a little bit further along and eventually decide at some point to make our turns take more time, so people have more time to actually think about the stuff they want to do. But there, I'm babbling again. Hi, it's me, Lebluini. I'm playing Dominion 6 multiplayer. I think that's something I never actually mentioned, even though I started talking about my fellow players. But just in case I forgot, yes, this is a multiplayer game. And yes, until now I haven't actually uploaded anything, because I wanted to get this game on the run. Now I have decided that even if this run ultimately will end in failure, because I'm absolute bastard at this game, and not in a positive way, I'm just really stupid and ignorant, don't learn fast enough, and there are really a lot of very quick learning good players, and I am not one of them. But since I have survived so far, we may be able to beat up some of the weaker players and survive to do some impressive magic before I'm inevitably brought down by my own hubris. Anyway, we are here with Gem and Holograms, the goddess of TNN, and we just got our war going against Mekone, a giant nation of heretical giants. Oh, that's a mess. Fun nation to play, but also not exactly oriented the same way we are, but I'll explain later. We now have some more research. Conjuration has reached level 4, which gained us some neat spells, some of which we can't use. And we are now blasting through construction. At construction 3, we unlock the next level of magic items to forge, which hopefully gives us something interesting to forge with our growing stack of gems. Conjuration would give us some... Oh wait, that's from another game I just ended my turn off. For some reason Dominions remembers the last time you made a filter, even if you ended a game and then started a turn of another different game. So if I now hit this, then you can see all my spells again, just in case you were confused. So yes, even construction has some more spells. So most of those we can't use because of obviously stuff like earth magic is important for construction. Forging is for everyone, of course, regardless of path. But some of the more exotic stuff like iron griffins will be far off, if at all, for us. We really have not that much to do. We are fairly more likely to make wooden constructions, which are sturdy golem-like things made of wood. And you get 4 of them for 6 nature gems, and if you expend some more gems you can even transform them into some sort of wooden construction leader. But we have other things to do, so this kind of experimental playing around is for the future. And after we reach construction 3 we are blasting through our combat spells, but right now none of us have unlocked that much combat magic, I'm sure. Then our auto searchers are still searching but haven't found anything. Callum has made surely this prophet will die less. Oh, I know. Surely this prophet will die less, the Eagle King. So Callum has lost a prophet and has now made a known for their god, Satan's little helper. So good luck, my friend. And whoops, one of the long-handed units died. I'm guessing it's not one of the sacreds because I looked at those, but I must have missed another guy who was crippled. Whoops. Then 2 more battles. We invaded Kuna Evral and lost some units. Our Firbolg slingers took a good hit, 16 died, and our she warriors, the sheep knockoff version of our sacreds, also lost 11, a steady amount, 27 dead on our side, and then we killed a whole bunch. Down here you see we killed the province defense commander, and then even the giants. The giants accounted well for themselves, killing basically all of our units, before then dying. And I guess some ran away. Then those units. So let's take a look at the battle. I mean, obviously we didn't destroy any actual player armies, but 119 defense is... yeah, I'm guessing someone put a lot of money into this province, and this money has just evaporated. Since I can already... oh wait, I'll just show you. That's after why I'm here. Yeah, our giant army. Let's do things a little bit faster, and I want to see what actually happens. I'll leave it at that detailed battle log, so you can see what happens here. Now our blurred units march forward with their insane, obscene, really defense and grammar on top. 2 mirror images, blurred and defense upgrades. Oh, that's a bit hard to hit. In comparison, saying our she warriors are far easier to hit, and they of course aren't blurred right now. We have to unlock bigger group spells for this to matter. Well, they are highly vulnerable compared to our sacreds. Here's the enemy in large ungainly chunks because it's province defense, so there is nothing the player can do to script those. First we have the Giganto Ekdromos. Well, that's a mouthful. I just feel lucky I'm German, so I have at least a chance to pronounce this. Those things are size 6. In Dominance 5 that would have been maximum size. Here there's a bit more granularity. For comparison's sake, a normal sized human would be size 3, a human with a rider size 4, and those guys are two levels above that, so they are giants. And the scale goes up to 10 for the most gigantic of monsters. So they are fairly big. They don't have trample like many other big units, but they don't really need to in Dominion 6, because Dominion's invented a new system where giants can't just get stuck in groups of smaller enemies forever. They can actually shove smaller units out of the way. Trample also works similar now and just shoves other people out of the way and hurts them. So big enemies can be more dangerous than you would think based on your experiences if you played the other games, where giants were often hilarious. They could dish it out but not take it. Easily surrounded, and if you had a lot of cheap staff, they would just stand in the middle of a big lump of small units and keep killing them over and over while getting tired, and then your important units would stab them in the back. The end. But in this game they are far more dangerous. Also have good attack skill, so not only can their golden spears do a shit ton of damage, killing most units instantly, they also have a fairly good chance of actually hitting, and defense skill is 15. So in turn to having 30 hit points, that's about 3 times the amount of an average standard human. This means those guys can actually take one of those gigantic hits and multiple of our units. So they are sturdy, and on top of this, with protection of 16, a lot of the damage is mitigated. So if you're particularly unlucky, they will possibly need a half a dozen hits to get brought down. Morale is fairly high, so they aren't likely to run. They're really good units. But as I looked them up, I realized you have a limit of 3, a recruitment limit. If that's true, because it's our website I looked this up, this means the normal version the player can use can only be recruited 3 times. And I hope this is not a unit only for the capital. Oh, it's magic damage, that's even better. But anyway, they also take a gigantic chunk of resources, so even in your capital at home, Mekone can probably not make a lot of them at once. And from what I looked up, they are also limited to 3 per turn, regardless of how much resources and money you have. And they are 40 gold, which is a large chunk more than our she warriors, and I think a little bit more than our sacreds. So while they are really good units, they are not sacreds and can therefore not be buffed by your god, But Mekone is also a heretical nation, built on the idea of undermining enemy dominion instead of strengthening their own. This means that they don't really have any useful sacreds, not that I can remember any. When looking up, I can't remember even seeing anything. Instead, they have big, sturdy, completely mundane units. And they have some extra bits here, like skirmisher, which means you can put them in large, loosely organized squares without them losing morale. And formation fighter. This means they are well dried to using tight formations, and formation fighter 2 means you can put 2 more into one square than normally, which means since they're just so big, and I keep forgetting what the rules exactly are, but you can see this here. We have level of size 3 for normal human sized, and they are 3 inside, 3. And that seems to be the limit. And if you look here, because they are size 6, which is approximately twice the size, I think I'm really bad at math. So I think at size 4 or 5 there should be only 2 per things, and at size 6 there should be only 1 per square. Of course, it could be that I completely fucking up my math, because that's just something I do. I'm like that. This is a gigante hoplite, a smaller, slightly less sturdier version. The defense skill is slightly lower. Their protection is even higher though. They also have a chunk of hit points to chew through, but they lack the skirmisher option. They only have formation fighters alone, but they are still good, and also take 40 gold and over 50 in resources. And I think the normal version also comes with a turn limit, or 3 per turn. So in a way our enemy will have both of those, because he needs, even if he has gigantic amounts of resources somehow, somewhere, to recruit both of those to get more than 3 giants per turn. Anyway, here you see it better here. Those normal human-sized Helotes, with their average attack skill, their better than average defense skill, and because they are slaves, they're terrible moral. Those guys will run away soon, I fear. And they're just human-sized. 10 points, hit points, some normal weapons, some basic equipment that at least means they won't just die to any stupid arrow arriving at their vigor shields, but they're effectively mostly worthless except for catching arrows in the chest. Slightly difference between languages there. Yeah, those two have formation fighters too. But I'm guessing the province defense is slightly worse at this. It could be that because it's province defense, not a real army, they aren't actually following the rules. Otherwise, as you can see, our units don't have formation fighting anything, but they're still about 3 of ours per square. Same with the normal units here. Then you have units like these ones here, Helot Hoplites. They'll have shittier defense skills, average attack, highly more protection, still normal hit points, and incredibly shitty morale. They also have promotion. That's something new. This unit will get promoted and turn into another unit if it gets enough experience. Promotion 50. So I guess this means if they gain 50 experience points, they'll transform into a better unit. And something luckily not relevant for automatic province defense, I think. They also have formation fighter. Size points. This explains. Of course, this means they can't actually get anything because they are size 3. This means another unit with size 2 could, in theory, squeeze in with one of their squads, making them having 4 units instead of 3. But as you can see, sometimes it almost works, but I think it still counts only as 3, and does 2 as 3, even if that one in the middle looks like it could belong to the first squad instead. What I'm seeing here is, since about 3 human-sized units can be squeezed into one square. Oh, 4 in this case. Oh, okay, I was wrong. So it's just shitty placing by the defenders. So I'm guessing those guys, yep, they don't have formation fighter, but promotion. That means they probably transform eventually in one of these guys. Interesting. It's nice to see. If they had Sacred, they could combine this with the Heroism Blast to really boost this transformation. But alas, Mekone is not that kind of empire. So, to recapture our logic here a little bit, it seems, yes, normally about 3 human-sized units can fit into one square, I got that right, and plus 2 formation fighter points means that sometimes you get another unit and then you have 4 per square. That seems to be working out. Of course, this means these guys here. I'm getting to that one like this. Yes, formation fighter 2. But with 6 size points, since they are size 6, and about 9 size points fitting into one square, this means, well, only one of them fits in. And 6 plus 2 is 8. Let me think this through. 6. So 3 size points are still open. Enough for just one single human to squeeze in here. With 2 more points, you would expect to sometimes see a square where 2 humans could squeeze in, or a second of these big guys. But that's about it. It seems, since those units are so big and you need to have a lot of them for this to happen, the formation fighter bonus is not that impressive than I thought. But I guess occasionally having one of these big guys more than you expect can be a decisive thing in big battles, which this one really isn't. And of course, minimum leader size. This is important to know for the player, because this means those fuckers are arrogant assholes who refuse to be led by puny human-sized commanders. Nope. In this case, they have an auto commander of size 6 here, but players, if they want to call command giants, also need a giant commander. All those fuckers will just refuse to obey orders, and you can't even put them into squads, so making them completely useless. We have some she-warriors getting killed up here. Now let's progress the battle. Yeah, both sides throw shit at each other. And then we kill and kill and kill. Whoops, sorry, but you're completely alone. You're completely alone and... well, we are not hitting. What's happening here? Yep. That's a mess. They're killing our slingers and our she-warriors. Then it's just a long battle line here hitting. Well, whoops, the Haylords are running away, and now the giants have enough and are dying while running away. Funnily enough, the commander has survived all this time only to now getting surrounded and getting killed. Oops, no, that's only a completely normal unit. I guess then the commander managed to slip away. Yep, there he is. He has now an affliction, a chest wound, a massive hit that reduces his strength and puts his encumbrance up to 5, which is now at 12, so he can basically swing his sword like 9 times, then he is too tired to fight. And while his morale gave out, he still has 6 hit points left, and enough protection to maybe survive another hit. Too bad that he is just province defense and will therefore just evaporate now that the battle is won. The game will treat them like they are deserters. So let's just be nice and assume they will run away, instead of our army following them and then slaughtering them mercilessly. So that was this battle. You know, we are now besieging the enemy fortress here. And Evia. We destroyed the enemy temple, and there was not enough money here in the defense to do anything, so this battle is extremely cheap and easy. Yeah, those guys are hopeless. They are not enough to even reach our lines. And then the commander got stabbed in the back somewhere over there. And that's a complete elimination. We have started to destroy the fort in Kuna Ewell. The walls are severely damaged, but we need more time. Yep, that was it. That was it too. And let's... I think I leave the defense at 1 because the enemy army, approximately 60 giants, finally started moving. This may be some serious threat, since the giants can take a lot of damage, and even though our sacreds had 0 losses too far, they are also my sacreds and I don't want to lose them. So these two armies together may be strong enough to easily deal with one of those guys. Let me check some troop numbers. Yeah, still mostly intact. Thanks to our higher morale on our shitty units, even though a lot of them got killed, they are still all there. Do we have some wounded? Yep. Some have afflictions, like battle fright, but since morale is now individual and not squad based, I can deal with 1 or 2 of those clowns running away. Oh, what do we have? Oh, this one is blind. Oh, that's cute. But I guess he can still be of some use by getting a face full of giants, so our more expensive units won't die. Oh, I have to press escape, because I have no idea how to undo this. Our she-lords, our she-warriors also get some afflictions. Battle fright seems to be fun here, but since they are mighty elves, losing 5 points of morale just puts them back to standard human emotions of 10. Otherwise, completely normal. The other wounded guy has weakened, so some really heavy hit weakened his strength, which means he does less damage, and that's all. So let's look now at our sacreds. Our sacreds are completely undamaged. Not a single hit landed. Igilvi now, and he hasn't gained any additional shit. So this army is mostly intact. We just lost some medium infantries and some cheap chaff, and obliterated a large chunk of money. And this army had 0 losses. Makes me think maybe I should have only used sacreds. But we do need some cheap chaff simply to get a batter down some fortress walls. So, since these guys can only move to Rivia at their fastest, I'll unify troops a bit. If we now put our 2 armies together, then this army should be strong enough to be destroyed. So they have elephant riders. Those are nasty, but they're also, after they get pelted with from my slingers and my javelins, they'll probably run away before they even do anything. But let's see. The Neo-Damod hoplites are, I think, a smaller version, not giants. And they are, of course, mostly giant hoplites. Or gigante hoplites, I should say. And need to say, but until so far our sacreds had 0 losses. So it could be that they are just getting stabbed a lot while not hitting a single one of them. But since I can't really read this player's mind, I'll unify troops first and then look at what he is doing. This army will possibly, since it just started running towards us, make their move across the bridge, retaking that province, and they can either move northwards to retake that province and put themselves in between our small growing army here and our big army here, or they could try to throw us off. which would be, well, since our sacreds have beaten him up so easily for now, a bit stupid in my assumption. It would be smarter if he tries to avoid fighting us directly, maybe trying to move in a circle to join up with the other army. We, of course, if we see that he is up here, would try to... we would, of course, storm directly into Dragonscale Mountains, because if we then moved here, we would indeed move both armies on us. And, of course, we could also move down here to Kronenburg, trying to head them off, which is a risky move. Another thing we could do is, if this army is next turn here and this one here, it's a bit like chess then, really. If we could, of course, we would try to, possibly optimally, if we move troops then. Let's table that thought for a while. These guys, they have to attack their water province. Hopefully this goes well. Only 10 units are here, but it's another province with underwater knights. Hard to kill, and even more useless, because in this province there's really no way to get them out of there. None of the connections go to another water province, so those purely aquatic creatures are just very expensive province defense, even more useless than here, since in theory they could still happily prevent our friends from Riley to attack us. Yeah, we can keep recruiting these guys. Do we have recruitment points for a Triton Trooper or a Triton Guard? Both would be possible. Let's upgrade the defense of the guy standing around here a little bit. We saw the army here dying fairly easily, but there were about something like, I'm bad at math, I should better look it up, something like, say 15, not 50 or 60. So of course those reports are approximations. Looking at the graphics, it could be it's accurate. This of course isn't, because we know there are other units here. So maybe something like 25 to 30 giants. Still a bit more than 15. 60. This seems to be only giants. And whatever was here, they just abandoned it and walked off, so... What is there? Now I am intrigued. They're also leaving themselves open to Arco, who is around here. So I've sent the player of Arco a question, asking for some information exchange. So maybe next, if he starts responding, I'll start asking about a possible alliance, because if he joins in from his side while all those armies are fighting it out with my sacreds, he might join in. He might get Mekone itself, but I will still get this nice chunk of territory here and can finally expand into some forests. But let's see, maybe we have to fight them alone. And while Mekone looked large, with Arco being here, and that's Muspelheim, fire giants, that's interesting, more giants, being here, it seems Mekone wasn't that large. They just expanded very easily to the west and north, it seems. Now we are pushing them back, but we do have to win some major battles first before I can congratulate myself for another victory. So let's see where we need reinforcements. Since we upgraded this fort, our auto searcher is here now, and the other one has just searched and not found anything. No water. The Cradle of Faith. I keep forgetting I have this. It's a site that spreads dominion and does nothing else. Useful to have, but also quite odd. So we are gaining some more of our She-Lords here. Couple more turns and I have a complete new army finished here. Just one without any sacreds, so that's funny. Since our She-Lords can actually sometimes be hit. Oh, let's get up here. We'll continue to recruit stuff here. And we'll continue piling them up until we have numbers that are actually useful. Something like 15 to 20 here and something like 20 to 30 here. Then I can shuffle them over and let them join another army. We have dealt with this. And we've dealt with this, and because I have now more income thanks to the territory we got, I can also stop recruiting Baoban Shis for now and switch over to our Bean Shis, who have slightly more magic power and a lot more research ability, because we are a magic species. In a magic empire, we need magic. We need it to live. And now we have some more money left over for more secrets. And yes, 40 gold. So a 2-hour warrior is about worth 1 giant. So let's see how the battle goes. We also can recruit more of them because we don't have any limits and they cost less than half the resources. And of course, since they're sacred, they have our insane magic blast buffs. So in fact, if it weren't for just having 14 instead of 30 hit points, they would be factually better. And they too have a golden spear that does magic damage. Completely pointless against the completely boring and mundane power of the giant of Mekone. But that's something to keep in mind for later. Now we have used all of our money for some more sacreds and slingers. Guess we need more money to recruit faster. Having lots of slingers is always good. And then we have those guys, which are at this point just, I guess, primarily there to keep getting hit by giants in the face and dying. So to preserve our more expensive units. So this army is basically ready. If I don't need reinforcements, that would be good to find too. If I need them, 6 is not enough. I mean, if they get blessed, they also get balls as hard to hit, and would be a nice supplement to our She-Lords. Especially since they have light bonuses, which gives them more damage, a charge bonus to first strike. Which means you can either use their short bows, which means they won't get any bonus damage, or we can use their light lance for a charge, and then they can't use their bows. They are skilled riders, increase the moral and defense skill of the mount, which are Pegasi. Smart. Oh, that's nice. That's the reason why we keep getting to... Aha, that's interesting. So because they are smart, they can find their way home on their own. So I'm guessing the normal horses have to be collected like wayward units and brought back for the cheap rehiring of the rider to occur. And they are fun flying out of sacred, so they get the same buffs, since they also fairly have highly defense skills and at least some protection. They're just beefy enough to even survive a giant's hit. Barely, and only if the giant rolls poorly on damage, but it's better than the riders, who would be instantly dead, even with their tiny protection. Not exactly our bronze armored super elves. But they won't also die to a stray arrow. Mobile archer. This unit is able to fire even while moving. This ability only has effect for mounted units. That's interesting. Can I give something like moving and firing? No. But I guess I could give them this and they would be able to fire while they move. Fire would be useful because they would then move forwards and shoot while they are moving. Also useful, but there is nothing I could script to make them actually make use of their bows while charging. Too bad. So I guess they would get the normal standard attack things like hold and attack and then try to flank or backstab the enemy. And of course I would only use those together with our She-Lords, which are amassing here. I'm guessing I would need a minimum of 3. I'm thinking, is it too early? Yeah, the problem is we can't just get one of those. So I'm guessing if nothing too horrific happens, I'll wait until I have 8 of those, and then move them together with our army here, down south to join up with the troops in Quadra, and then I have 2 my new armies to reinforce the south. 2 turns would also mean, if worst comes to worst, they would then land here, just as a new massive army is ready to join up in Tirnanok. And then I would just able to destroy that army, isolated as it is. Well, that would be a possible strategy. If he moves straightly northward to try to get us in a position where he can join both armies together, it would then make logical sense to instead move on the army coming from the east. Because even if he then says, okay, let's be annoying, and moves further northward, we already have a new army ready here to then move southward, so we could just squeeze him. And since this is clearly the weaker army, this would then work out in our favor. And then those armies would, in the worst case of worst cases, move around each other, trying to evolve, with Mekone trying to avoid us. While of course, after we destroyed this army, we could do whatever the hell we wanted here. Especially since recruiting new giants will take a good long while, as we just explained. So that was a lot of thinking and strategizing and recruiting and researching. There is of course one thing I can do, just that I thought about it. Problem is of course we don't have a water income, like none at all. We have some basic glamour and nature, but it could be better. And we have some tiny astral and earth. Astral is important because we can just transform it into other shit if we absolutely want to. And it's cheaper than doing this with normal gems. Because for example those 20 fire gems would turn into 10 astral pearls and then into 5 of whatever I wanted. So that's a steep exchange rate. Trading with another player would clearly be better. But something I wanted to do is forge something for this guy, because there is something he can do. Something we can do, I should add. Do I do it? Because I would like to see what Akko is doing, and there is multiple things that's important. One thing, of course, with those annoying river positions, there are not that many ways to get down here except across the dead forest. Ooh, beautiful. And here again we have a river partly blocking us except in the coldest night of winter. So we can only go across straight to the east. But there is of course this strait, which functions like a river. And while we don't want to attack Akko, I would like to see what's going on there. So let's be sneaky. Let's be an elf. First, alchemizing. We need 5 water gems. Now I'm sacrificing some of my research capabilities to forge something. The fish scale boots. They need 5 water gems and only on level 1 water mage, and all they do is give the ability to swim. Swimming does 2 things. As you can read here, it allows to commander with those boots equipped to cross a river anytime and not just when it's frozen. And if for some reason they end up fighting underwater because they have some other magic gems, or because they can actually move underwater, because those units unable to swim but are able to walk underwater are still in existence. I think our kappas belong to this category. So if the kappa commander carries this, he wouldn't get the reduction of penalties here, But what he would get is the ability to swim across rivers. It's a bit silly to think about, since you'd think a Kappa could just walk through. But nope, I think they can't. So now we'll forge this. Next turn we can put it on poor Braun. On Braun will now suddenly be able to walk across rivers. He can still drown and can't enter water at all until someone teleports him there or something real cool like that. Or until he marches underwater with a magic item and then loses it. All possibilities. But as long as I'm just walking across the river, nothing bad should be happening. Now let's test this. Okay. I was wrong. Aquatic and amphibious units can walk through rivers. Nice to know. So in other news, fish scale boots wouldn't do anything for our Kappa commanders. Good to know. And to make sure, let's see. I've tried to remember. Here it is. We have heat 1 and here neutral. So yeah, it's definitely not frozen. So yeah, we have confirmed amphibian units can indeed cross rivers. Nice to know. Not that it helps much, but well, we have a battle next turn, maybe 2 battles, and then we will try to keep those 2 armies separated and destroy them one by one. And if this takes long enough, then a 3rd army will move down here. Of course, if I have 2 armies consolidated, it's more like 2 armies, but you know what I mean. Yes, and everything goes swimmingly. Sorry for the pun. Maybe we get an ally, maybe not, but the war is going on and currently we are winning, slightly winning. But only because Mekone is slightly less scary than I thought it would be. But let's see what you can do with 50 giants instead of just 15. End of turn, people. Until next time.